The circus surrounding Stormy Daniels, Michael Cohen, and Donald Trump goes on and on and on. Any minute now, Stormy Daniels, along with Michael Avenatti, her attorney, will appear on The View. There they are going into the building there where The View is taped. You guessed it. They will release that composite sketch of the so-called thug who threatened Daniels over her alleged affair with Donald Trump. At least that's what Avenatti tweeted out this morning. Of course, that all pales in light of what happened in a federal courtroom yesterday. It was a bombshell moment, one that leaves us with so many questions. Mr. Trump's fixer and his personal attorney represents three clients. Mr. Trump, who allegedly paid off a porn star, Robert Brody, who paid off a Playboy playmate, and Sean Hannity. Hannity scrambled to downplay this, first on his radio show and then on television.
Let me set the record straight. Here's the truth. Michael Cohen never represented me in any legal matter. I never retained his services. I never received an invoice. I never paid Michael Cohen for legal fees. I did have occasional brief conversations with Michael Cohen. He's a great attorney about legal questions I had, or I was looking for input and perspective. My discussions with Michael Cohen never rose to any level that I needed to tell anyone that I was asking him questions.
Bob Bianchi joins me now. He's the former head prosecutor in Morris County, New Jersey. All right.
Hi.
So, according to Sean Hannity, he never paid Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen just gave advice for free. And we also know that Michael Cohen, out of the goodness of his heart, paid off Stormy Daniels to the tune of $130,000. Have you ever experienced a lawyer like that in your career?
No, listen, from the minute that Michael Cohen's attorney was going out on the circuit and then confirmed by Donald Trump that the fixer was actually making payments through accounts outside of his attorney trust account in quote-unquote hush money scenarios, this is a very challenging thing, and it was not brain surgery to figure out that this implicated bank fraud, tax fraud, and potential campaign violations. I actually called attorney friends of mine, being a certified criminal trial lawyer, and I'm like, am I missing something here? So that is a very, very unusual thing, and there's going to be pain visited upon Michael Cohen one way or the other, Carol.
But just going back to Sean Hannity for a moment, what he says defies credulity in my mind. So he just talked to Michael Cohen, and Michael Cohen gave him casual legal advice. No money ever changed hands, although on Sean Hannity's radio show, he says maybe he gave Michael Cohen $10 a few times, which I didn't really get. It just like, either he's your client or he's not. Like, which is it? Michael Cohen says Sean Hannity is his client, which I assumed that he would be paying a lawyer for his services.
Yeah, I'm going to do something a little different than what the legal analysts out there are saying. Just yesterday alone, I had three or four phone calls with individuals who were represented by other people and were thinking of switching over to my law firm and were asking me questions back and forth, and we were talking about legal strategies. This happens all the time. It happens in the news networks when I do TV appearances. What I think is happening is that it is possible that a person doesn't understand that by the mere definition that they're speaking to me, it is in fact protected by the attorney-client privilege, but they may not see it so because they don't have a retainer, they don't have an agreement, and in fact, they may not even decide to retain the firm. But nevertheless, legally, under our ethics rules, it is protected by the attorney-client privilege. So I can kind of understand that confusion. However, I have seen cute things where people will pay, here's $1, now this is under attorney-client privilege between me and you because they want to say something that they're not supposed to and maybe perpetrate a crime. I'm not suggesting that with Sean Hannity in the least, but that will not work. But I actually kind of feel a little sympathetic here because I can understand casually talking to a lawyer and not believing that you're being represented, but for the lawyer's purposes, it is protected.
Yeah, but Sean Hannity didn't want that revealed. That's according to Michael Cohen's attorney in that federal courtroom, because he's told the judge that Sean Hannity would be embarrassed by it.
Right. And, you know, we get into this. We do a lot of high-profile representation, too. And listen, his identity is not protected by the attorney-client privilege. But I can understand how certain individuals, just to avoid what's happening right now, don't want their identity out there. Look what happened with Brody, because it may require that you're now going to have to give explanations. So, again, I'm sympathetic to the idea that you don't want your name to be out there. Nevertheless, the judge ordered it, and there it is.
And just a final question. That federal judge, they ruled third-party lawyers could examine those confiscated records from Mr. Cohen's office, third-party lawyers, but not Mr. Trump's lawyers directly, and not prosecutors in this particular case. Fair?
Right. So, yeah, what the judge is trying to do is split the baby here in terms of, she made a very exact comment. She wants there not to be an appearance of impropriety. She's going above and beyond what happens in ordinary cases. Typically speaking, the taint team is the one that would do this for the FBI and they would, or the Department of Justice, and they would hand whatever they should over to the prosecutors investigating, and if they think it's confidential, they wouldn't. In this particular case, it's a Pyrrhic victory for, if you want to even call it a victory, because in the end analysis, what the U.S. attorneys want, they want the information with regard to Cohen's private business dealings that are not protected by the attorney-client privilege. Whether or not the taint team does it, whether or not she eventually goes with the magistrates to do it, the bottom line is Team USA is getting the data.
Bob Bianchi, thanks so much for your insight. I do appreciate it.
My pleasure, Cal.
You're welcome. Sun Country.